Hey y'all. So I want to show you my little hard work today. I blasted through a reel of ink with my really bad little printer so I could work on my little City Hall packets. So I was just going to sort of go over a table of contents, and then after that, I was going to show you my fabulous copies of my filing for the courts, which I have to also serve the DA. So it's really for the court, but to be proper, I have to. It's not an ex parte filing, which would mean just to one party, sort of like in secret. It's meant to encourage openness and transparency to share equally and fairly. So I'm going to go over the City Hall packet first, and then move on to the court filing thing. My idea originally was to read the whole thing to you, but in the interest of time, City Hall starts at 6. I don't know if I could no, it's just no. Okay, so for City Hall, I have 2 police reports, one from Astoria and one for Gresham. For the person who runs Lifeboat, his history with firearms and theft of a disabled care dog and burglary. And then I have a series, so that's the criminal record stuff is on the background, because this is sort of like the background check that never happened. And then this is a recommendation. It's called, it's an email. It says lists of many people to talk to about Ozark, Iraq, inappropriate language or abuse. Okay, so that is referring to a lot. There is a report to consumer complaints with the Department of Justice civil enforcement section, mailed it to what they call charitable activities section, which I'd already made a complaint with them. So I was kind of like duplicating in case one was better versus the other. I did not know. Then here is the BOLI filing, which is the Oregon State Bureau of Labor and Industries Civil Rights Division investigation of public accommodations discrimination. And for those of people who don't know, in regards to non-enforcement of Americans with Disabilities Act in a state which is in the United States of America, our federal law protects disability discrimination, but we also have state laws which protect against disability discrimination. And in this instance, the state agency, which is BOLI, is responsible for any public accommodations discrimination which may occur involving race, gender orientation, disability status, etc. So they are investigating a whole laundry list. And then just for fairness, I include Ozark's little laundry list of his lawyers sent me some nasty letters last summer, as you recall. And then he sent me a letter threatening legal action. And then here is some information about the assault of a paraplegic at Lifeboat. And so that's my City Hall packet. Okay, and here's an idea for my City Hall pitch, which is like, how do I fit this all into 3 minutes, right? How about the fun idea of city council members can sleep outside in like a sleeping bag in a tent or whatever. They can go for their meals to Lifeboat down the staircase for an experiential, hands-on learning opportunity. So when they come back to City Hall and shape policy for the homeless, they can have a better understanding of what's going on. To me, I was just like full of elation. I was like, that's a great idea. But I've seen it before in other jurisdictions where city council, or as a government official, tries to demonstrate their humanity by trying to get involved. So here we go, moving on to, the file I am submitting to the Court of Clatsop. So I ran into Kahala on the way. I told him about Ozark's little deal with me. And I also found this most interesting fact that I've never received notice at my post office nor my email, despite there being a false record submitted to the court saying that all parties were invited via WebEx, and it would be normal that you would get a notice by mail as well as email, and that was not given to me. That therefore induced a failure to appear. which then therefore generated the possibility of this warrant, which is why I went to jail. So I went to jail on a court administrative error, and there was nothing. The court ladies were kind of freaked out when they realized they couldn't prove that they actually emailed me, because there's no record of it, and like I don't delete emails like that. Anyway, so let's see. So this is a motion to recuse for Judge Wintermute. This is a motion to recuse. So if you see, it's my handwritten jailhouse lawyer filing business, which is fun because like I don't like word processing that much. So maybe I'll get better at it as I get wiser. So it's like motion to recuse, okay? Then there is motion to dismiss. And I just looked up motion to dismiss online and was following from a template, which is what I learned in paralegal school or from talking to Barry Jo Stoll. So marrying motions to this court for dismissal of this matter for the reasons set forth in the documents filed in support of this motion. Good cause exists to grant this motion, respectfully submitted. Okay, very, very extremely basic, but it's hard to come up with that language. I find the guidance very helpful. And so basically I went through a series of declarations. And so I'm going to just summarize the gist of the declarations. Oh, good Lordy, I'm not going to read you the 13-page. I gotta call the guy at the pawn shop. That guy's hilarious. Before he closes for the July 4th holiday. No, he's closed on a Monday, isn't he? Never mind. So anyway, 13-page declaration in support of motion to dismiss, okay? And I really like my yellow paper because it helps me sort out the exhibits or the attachments, I call them. Okay, so when we get to page 13, we'll know we're at the end of this big monster of a long letter. It's a letter, but it's a letter to a judge, essentially, explaining the nuances of the case. And then, okay, so that is the declaration number 1 in support of motion to dismiss. And boy, that's the behemoth, is declaration 1. Then declaration 2 is like a cover letter for my BOLI filing. Easy peasy, right? Because that's the state agency. Declaration number 3 in support of motion to dismiss is an email. And that email is titled Another Assault Outside Beacon Clubhouse, Astoria, Oregon. And that email is a year old. It was sent 1 year ago, 3 July 22. Okay. So that is about the assault of the paraplegic, the famous actor Obie Babs, who had a very rare complication in his spinal cord from meningitis that resulted in him becoming a paraplegic just a few years ago. It's very, very tragic. It could happen to any of us, and that's why we have to be passionate about disability rights. You should not be beaten up at a homeless shelter, whether you are or are not in a wheelchair. By Quentin, and I actually saw his assailant today. He's riding around. He's been gone. I thought he went to rehab or something. So, and then declaration number 4 is the APD file on Ozark, Iraq's burglary with firearms, which would cause me to fear him because I don't know if he's still packing a gun. I mean, he's packing a bunch of crazy criminals and felons that have threatened me and been abundantly dangerous to me. So that's attachment number 4. Then next is the Gresham police report regarding alleged criminal mistreatment of an elderly disabled woman by theft of care dogs. So that is a Gresham police report, which I paid for. So good on me for being proactive about records. Declaration number 6 in support of a motion to dismiss. I declare the attached email to the Astoria Warming Center to contain relevant information about fears of ongoing abuse. And voila. Okay, so declaration number 7. This is the hardest one. Okay, and preemptively, I am warning you, this is the one. If I had an editor saying tone it down, which I just talked to Scott Lee at the bike shop, he was like, narrow it down to one thing. don't get concerned with all the clutter. And he said this as he was standing in a big pile of clutter that I was like, can I help you? Or the bike shop? Because he's a smart, savvy political guy. And he said, this goes with the territory of you're political, so they're going to go after you. And he said their goal will be to delegitimize you. And I said, yeah, but they'll find out what a fighter I am. And he said, kind of like, yeah, exactly. So it's felt good to have Scott Lee's support. So here we go. This is my statement about my concerns about bias in policing in the district attorney towards women who report gender-based violence, as well as an attachment from a recent ruling regarding the very statute with which I am charged, regarding quasi-governmental status for anybody receiving massive amount of city and county funding, as Ozark Iraq has been pulling. He is himself, in a sense, maybe that makes him feel more grandiose, quasi-governmental in the fact that he is doing this dirty work of abusing the homeless on behalf of the city and the county. So therefore, my understanding of his desperate need to keep his abusive tendencies secret. Oh, cool. This is a cool attorney is texting me. I may have. And so I left a message for an attorney Scott recommended, and I'm texting an attorney I know. And oh my gosh, I read the information that poor little Ron Brown filed, and I believe he doesn't understand one party recording. He doesn't understand that I was in the room and that it was a call made on my behalf for me and with me. And it's for a clothing voucher. Like, I'm being verbally abused by a man who I'm seeking like 2 used t-shirts, 2 used jogging pants, and a hoodie for. He's being verbally abusive. I'm recording the abuse. I'm in a domestic violence center where you'd think they'd want to make you safe from abusive men. And now I'm being prosecuted. So it's, in a way, hilarious to say that, but it's like going to be super fun. I guess I'm going to get off of here and chit chat with my friend, this lawyer. And y'all have fun. See you at City Council if you show up. Pro se litigation got so much stress off my case, like just writing out my letters and, writing as therapy. I feel immensely better. And I feel like I'm very, very lucky and blessed to have a pen, to have paper, to have a printer, to have internet access. So all those things that some people don't have when they're embarking on pro se litigation. That's just a complete disadvantage. So I recognize all those privileges. I have eyeglasses so I can see. So just don't roll over if somebody's trying to oppress you. Stand up and fight back.